Hello, everyone. This is Riza, and I'm actually not very happy not being in the same room with you today, right now. But life is what it is. So I took the liberty to address to you from the outside. This is the recorded message. If anything goes wrong, they will play this one. Um, a couple of disclosures. First of all, I really don't feel comfortable addressing to you, without knowing the mood in the room, what's going on, your reactions, your eyes, your whatever. Um, so if I may request, could you please link me? Just reach me out on LinkedIn and share with you your perspectives, your feedback, your ideas, your reactions to what I'm going to say in a minute. That will definitely help me. First of all, I will link with you and I will know who were in the room. And it will also give me the feedback that I need, interaction. That's what we need, isn't it? Second thing, why am I addressing to you? So who makes me, or what makes me the expert who is entitled to share his opinions with you? Well, I would say a lot of coincidence. By coincidence, I was one of the early investors of Avalanche Labs. So that opened my eyes to a new world. I happen to know one of the organizers of this event, a long-lasting friend and maybe even a business partner. And I was in the right time, right place. I attended the Barcelona Developers Conference of the Avalanche AVAX system. And there, when I was encountered with the idea of addressing to you today. So that doesn't make me an expert, but that gives me maybe the freedom to share with you some of my observations. You will see who am I through my LinkedIn CV profile and everything. And you will realize that after 30 years of banking and soul searching, I'm kind of back to my roots. I'm investing in technology companies, and I'm also investing in human capital. I'm on one hand leading coaching, mentoring, and leadership development circles in different levels, but I'm also investing as an investor to different type of scale-ups, startups, and sometimes technology, direct to technology. And I'm going to talk about one of them today. All right, so the second or the third, I don't know, the thing that I'd like to share with you before I start is, actually, this is a rather sad moment to talk about what I'm going to talk about, because I don't know how many of you gave some investments in the crypto assets, cryptocurrencies. It's been a very rough ride, isn't it, during the last 1 month? The Terra Luna saga. Yeah, we knew it, the interest rates and the geopolitical issues, macroeconomic issues, affecting all asset classes. But I would say I'm a little bit even sadder, more sad, with the fact that, yesterday, I'm sorry, there was a kind of decoupling, right? Even the tech stocks were increasing, so we've seen crypto suffers. Bitcoin related, we know, but it kind of had an impact on the people's sentiments, feelings, when I'm going to talk about the psychology of co-creation of Web3 anyway in a minute. To put all those things together, I think we are lucky, we are blessed to be where we are today. We see a major development in human history. Maybe that will be a hype, it will maybe fade away, but it will come back. Maybe those market fluctuations will demoralize some of us, many of us, but there will still enough resources, technology, money, time, human brain, pour into that. Because, there was an article about metaverse in The Economist, and the writer, he starts writing about, there's nothing new about this. The human, when the Göbekli Tepe happened, like 13,000 years ago, when they moved those stones vertical, they were kind of creating an imaginary world. And this we have been doing all the time, isn't it? Yuval Harari talking about the incorporation. Can you touch it? Can you feel it? But this is maybe the biggest innovation. But we have been following the same kind of way of life since Sumerians chose to settle down with agriculture society. Even though we have advanced our technology, we have advanced many things touching upon human life, but at the end of the day, I think the psychology prevailed, being more me focused, being more transactional focused, being more kind of short-term focused. And we have seen all through history those human settlements, communities who manage to collaborate in a much better way to prosper. Today, finally, first time you're going to hear this word from me, NFT, and everything that supports NFT, like the smart contracts, DAOs, the community, all the tokenization of interactions, of relationships or assets. And ultimately, maybe, I don't like this word, but we gotta put a name on it. And Mark was quicker, so metaverse, omniverse, whatever you name it. This parallel universe or parallel universes that already been existing. Think about all the, the belief systems and everything. But in a way, it's coming from a different angle. And that angle, I hope, you are there. We are all together creating this global community to create a major fundamental change. Because so far, Web 2, Web 1, and all economy preceding this, they are focused on transactions. For the first time, I would say, in monetary, economic, technological, but also psychological way, we are getting into an era where co-creation will prevail. Co-creation, creating the community, creating all the contracts in terms of defining the relationships and to prevailing them all through the life of whatever the circle we're thinking about, and then creating value all together for the benefit of whole community is actually putting all those things together, maybe happening for the first time. Of course, we see the family concept, we always help each other. We know the tribe concept, we know the nation state concept, it always comes with the same long-lasting relationship focus, but they end up with transactional. The platform economies, as we see today, the top 10, whatever the companies with market capitalization, they are kind of creating a community, but at the end of the day, they benefit from this community. You can change your role. You can be a client, and then you can be investor, and you can still, but it's all transactional. In NFTs, we are tokenizing, we are creating the smart contracts in order to define a new set of psychology. A psychology where whenever, whatever I do, I know that there will be also a benefit for the whole group, the V economy, but at the same time, I will also protect my own interests. And it's all online, it's all decentralized, it's all confirmed and approved by all the community members. But there is one major, big obstacle. If there is anything that you would like to take out of my speech today for you, is that there is one big obstacle. And this big obstacle is the mass adoption. What we're talking about is just tiny, minuscule, minor part of humanity, societies. When crypto assets were kind of trembling and losing $1 trillion of value, Goldman Sachs published a report last week and said the total household assets value is $150 trillion in USA. Losing 1 trillion in crypto assets doesn't have a big impact, they said. And that's true. Thinking about how many people have a kind of wallet, hot wallet, cold wallet. How many people can really think about staking, can know and do about, all the kind of, tech glitches people are backing off. So I think the next big step for all of us is, instead of creating new gadgets or new tokens, new currencies or whatever, cryptocurrencies, I think our focus should be on the mass adoption. How can we make it sure that people in the street elderly, youth, wealthy, or those who really suffer the most from today's society, those people who are really suffering from the centralized systems, how can we make sure that they can adapt to this brave new world? There are obstacles, minor, but those are kind of relatively positive obstacles. For example, European Union made it sure that in the foreseeable future, the real decentralized systems will not exist. They really want to have some certain control, some certain gatekeepers, like KYC. Any money flow, any monetary value equivalent flow of more than €1,000 will be reported. So on one hand, we are kind of dreaming a decentralized life or world. Sorry for this mistake. But at the same time, we know that it also comes at a cost. The first thing, mass adoption. The second thing linked to this is what we want is not really decentralization for the sake of decentralization. We want a better, best decision making. And I think all we need to do is to ensure that we can have such decision making processes embedded in DAOs, in our NFTs. And I think we need to start whenever we have our communities with deciding on how to decide. I used to do that in my I'm a chairman of many organizations, and I always start any debate, any board meeting, asking about, do we all agree on how to make a decision? The process of making a decision. Consensus, majority, qualified majority, or how long are we going to debate? How many people are we going to hear? Are we going to also hear the people who are not around the table today, whose voice is missing? So when we agree on all of this, then decision making is relatively easier. And what's also easier, what comes after? How people would really own the results or the consequences of the decision. So I think in NFT world, in the metaverse, I think the same concept should also arise with the idea, how do we make our decisions? Okay, before I conclude, there's one very important thing I'd like to touch upon. And among all those investments, there is one investment, which is Metazo. Metazo is a metaverse developer, let's say. And I would invite you to have a look, because the concept we have there is not to create a metaverse, is to create the tools that participants will create the metaverse. They will create their own universes. But we are here to create the meta city, everything related to how the contracts can be created, how NFTs can be recreated, and how the problems of intellectual properties can be solved, and how we can create this co-creation dichotomy in our universe. So it's in the development format. You can still get religious about it. But sooner or later, I would invite you to have a look, because in a few months' time, you will have this enabler platform, let's say, for those who would like to create their own universes to also have their own say and creation. Okay, I don't know how many minutes I talked so much, but it feels like it's time. First of all, thank you for that. And may I invite you to a debrief talk next Friday, 3rd June. I already put a LinkedIn meeting. You will go to my LinkedIn profile and you will see it. I will invite those who are interested in advancing our conversation to a 1-hour session. I will send you the Zoom link. So why don't we continue there? Why don't I have the privilege to meet you, to get to know you? And I can also get your reactions on everything I said so far. And it will be a kind of way to get to know each other. And you never know, maybe that will be an opportunity for my company, K Ventures, to also look into new opportunities. So I wish you a wonderful conference. I wish you great parties tonight, if you happen to have any. But if you don't, there should be a good reason why you don't. But anyway, pleasure being here, pleasure being with you. I'm not in the room, but as Hamilton says, the musical, I want to be in the room when it happens. And I don't know what will happen and when. Yeah, I hope we'll be all together there. Take care. Have fun. Bye bye.